Deuteronomy 8. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart, whether or not you would keep his commands. He humbled you, causing you to hunger, and then feeding you with manna which neither you nor your ancestors had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Your clothes didn't wear out and your feet did not swell during these 40 years. Know then in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, so the Lord your God disciplines you. We know, of course, that the Israelites to whom this was spoken failed the wilderness test miserably. They grumbled, they rebelled, they slipped into idolatry, yet God still sustained this people, stuck with them, and they remained his choice. In Luke 4, Jesus is led into the wilderness by the Spirit, and he passes the test that the Israelites couldn't pass. But as Tim Keller points out in his sermon, Honey from the Rock, yes, it's the same sermon that helped inspire that other song, Jesus passes the test that we cannot pass. We are going to face wilderness seasons, desert seasons in our own lives. And statistically, the likelihood of us navigating them perfectly and sinlessly is absolutely 0%. 1 Corinthians 10 tells us to take heed of what happened with the Israelites back then, to be warned and not to think we're beyond making some of the same mess ups. But we're also encouraged in the same chapter in verse 13 that God is faithful and that when we are tempted, he will provide a way out so that we can endure. And that's such an important word for the wilderness seasons in our lives, endure. In verse 4, we're told that even those wild post-Egyptian Israelites were accompanied by Christ. 1 Corinthians 10:4 says they drank from the spiritual rock that accompanied them, and the rock was Christ. So certainly he too accompanies us. Thank God that we have a Saviour who navigated the wilderness perfectly before we ever have to, and that he will help us endure and sustain us therein. He is one in whom we can absolutely trust and on whom we can utterly rely. Psalm 136:16, to him who led his people through the wilderness, his love endures.